Achike, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, how does President Biden's decision to withdraw from the presidential race impact the dynamics of the upcoming U.S. election and, of course, the global political stability that a lot of people are actually worried about?
Well, it's too early. It's too early to tell. I mean, he just made the announcement today. But the reality is that he had been trailing in the polls for quite some time. For the past 5 months, and a lot of people felt that that the Justice Department had been weaponized and that the criminal cases, about 94 of them or so, against Donald Trump was motivated by politics, rather than the need to bring Trump to justice. And so people had thought that even when he was indicted in one of the cases, that it was going to affect him, but it did not. Instead, it drove a lot of people to make more contributions to his campaign. And so, obviously, people have been worried. And so, especially in the battleground states, where Trump, a state that Biden had won in the last time in 2020, Trump is either slightly ahead in most of them. And then in a few of them, in one or two or so of them, he's, tied neck to neck with Joe Biden. And so then after that disastrous debate performance, it was clear to the party apparatchik, the leaders of the party, that something that needed to be done. Otherwise, they will lose the November elections. And so the pressure had been piling for a very, very long, for quite some time now, against Joe Biden that he should drop out. And, it just started with one or two members of the House of Representatives. And then it built up into a momentum where we have over 30 of them openly, going against Joe Biden. And then the leadership of the party, people like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Obama, was said to be the puppet behind the scene, all putting pressure on him. And not only that, the donors themselves also began to make threats that they are going to pull their money, they are not going to support the campaign. And that, I think that was the clincher. Because if you do not have money to run a campaign, how do you run the campaign?
Wow.
So I think the family held that for as long as they could, but it became very clear that something needed to be done.
Okay.
And Biden has.
Of course, and what is being done now, we now see Biden endorsing Kamala Harris as his successor in the race, and some people feel that this is going to be a rougher patch for the Democrats. What do you think might have influenced his decision, and do you think that Kamala Harris stands a better chance to stand toe-to-toe against Donald Trump?
Kamala Harris before now had not been a very popular vice president. Of course, you know that one of the major talking points of the politics of America today is immigration, which is number one in terms of the concerns of Americans, that people are pouring into the country, especially from the southern border. And when Joe Biden came in, he appointed Kamala Harris the border czar to stop the problem of the border. She didn't even bother to go to the border till the criticism got to a very high level, and so it is not very certain that Kamala Harris will do very well against Trump. But I think, again, if you look at it, it is expected that when that happens, that there will be a bounce. Yes, Joe Biden has endorsed Kamala Harris, who is a natural successor to him because she is the vice president. And so, but people within the party are saying that there might be an open convention. What it means is that if there's an open convention, that the floor will be thrown open to anybody that wants to contest, for that to be able to run against Donald Trump. Now that would cause a lot of schism within the party, because there are some people who loyalists of Kamala Harris who say under no circumstance must any attempt be made to replace Kamala Harris. So I think ultimately at the end of the day, it will be Kamala Harris. Otherwise, you're going to have an internal civil war within the Democratic Party. And but it's still early. She could show up her poll numbers in the coming days, depending on how the kind of message that she has, for the American people. I think the major drawback is that a lot of Americans are facing serious economic issues. That is, the number two, apart from the border, the number two problem is, that of the inflation in America. that has taken a lot of money away from many households in the United States. So these are the issues, and these are areas where the Democrats have very serious deficits.
So does it,
because they have been in government for the past 4 years.
Does it actually mean that Biden didn't actually address these issues that you've mentioned, inflation, the issue around immigration, the borderline, the economy, that even Trump has said is in shambles, but then when you look at it from the side of the Democrats, they feel that Biden actually handled it well. Would you say that the implementation and how Biden has gone about it has not really put the country in a better stead?
No, you see, when you look at the statistics in terms of jobs and all that, I think after some time, the economy began to, create a situation where, that a lot of Americans now, job opportunities began to open up for a lot of Americans. But I think that is not enough, because, you see, it's about the basic, food items, groceries, the cost of food, gas. These are the things that have caused many serious problems for the Democrats. Of course, the border issue has been the biggest weakness of the Biden administration, because they were accused of leaving the border open, where about 11 million people have come, into the United States illegally across the open border. So the policy of the Biden administration was not helpful, and that is impacting against, the Democrats at this time. So the economy is really in bad shape. They tried to make some improvements, but people are going back, and if you ask anybody who wants to be objective, whether black, white, colored, Hispanics, whether 4 years ago that Donald Trump, whether the economy was better, whether they had more money, the answer tends to be a yes, rather than a no. And so these are the things that they have to battle to be able to come up with a message that will resonate with Americans.
During Donald Trump's reign of 4 years to as president, quite a lot of things went south. Of course, violence, gun violence, and the economy. A lot of people felt that, Trump was the kind of person that was on couch when it comes to talking to people or addressing diplomatic issues, and that didn't speak well for him, giving precedence to Biden coming into power. Now, if the Democrats are going to pull an offset, or an upset rather, in the next 4 months, with the kind of person that Donald Trump is and the kind of momentum he's garnered, what do you think they should be doing to actually unstabilize the Republicans?
You're absolutely right. There's no doubt Donald Trump is not, in his attitude, is not presidential, and especially these mean tweets, that he tweets from time to time. It does not give a good impression of himself as president of the United Nations, of the United States. There's no doubt about that. But when you talk about policies, and I think that what people who do not like Donald Trump, what they say is that you need to look at his policies. And then when you look at the policies, and that's why because of these policies that some people, especially the blacks, are voting for him in historic numbers. We've not, in the past 50 years, we've not had the black vote for the Democrats have always been about 95% or so. But that of Trump has been increasing. As at the last count, it was around 15 to 20, 22%. And it's likely going to increase some more, because they felt that apart from the tag of racism against him, that when it comes to his policies, that there is nothing racist about that. He was able to fund money to historically black colleges and universities, HSBUs, in America. And then the crime reform reform that he did favored a lot of Americans and Hispanics, and people of color, minorities, and so on. So these are the issues. So they need, to do much more to be able to. I think it's all about policies. They need to set their policies. I'm talking about Democrats, those ones that they feel they have done well in the past 4 years.
Okay, Achike Chude, Global Affairs Analyst, thank you so much for your thoughts on this.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.